Hello, everybody. We are live. We got another episode of Tales from the Tavern. We had a few little, last-minute kinks to work out, but I think all is good. But if all of a sudden we have somebody go, I can't hear anybody anymore, we know what's going on. So, anyway, welcome to everybody. And we are going to get going with some introductions. So we're actually going to go in the opposite order of the way we usually start. We're going to start with Nikki and work our way around. So, Nikki, please tell everybody a little about yourself and where they can find you on social media.
I am Nikki, and I am the owner and creator of Beholder to No One, a TTRPG podcast that has way too many shows. And I'm also the creator of Dice Before Dawn, which is starting a Vampire the Masquerade game, and Sound Control RPG, which is starting a Savage Worlds game, all three of which will be on the Geekspective Network. Officially, I signed on with Beholder to No One this month, so I'm very excited for that. And you can find me usually on Twitter at Beholder to No One. Also, if you need editing needs, I got you.
Yes.
I can edit your audio.
Editor for hire. We love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on to hang out tonight. And Orc, we're going to go to you next.
Oh, snap. Hello. I'm Orc from Mork. You can find me trolling around Twitter, talking nonsense, sharing memes. And then more recently, I've been doing more creative things, creating ancestries for Pathfinder 2nd Edition, Witcher and Final Fantasy content for Pathfinder 2nd Edition, and the occasional 5e stuff when I feel like making 5e stuff. But that's pretty much it. Content creator, forever DM. Hit me up with your ideas, and we can make things happen.
Awesome. It's funny that you mentioned Pathfinder 2e because I just got involved in a group chat over the weekend where we were like, we should all play a Pathfinder 2e game. And then everybody went, who's going to DM it? And we were all like, not me.
Oh, if you need someone, I'm available.
We might tap into that.
Hell yeah.
All right. Sarah, we're going to go to you next.
Hi, everybody. I am Sarah. I am affiliated with the A Vancouver by Night channel, where I do my streaming. So I play a cleric on Tuesday nights in the Would Be Heroes game, and I DM for them also. So on, I'm trying to think, Sundays, it's actually just before this, we are running through the Lost Mines of Phandelver kind of starter set, and I've got some brand new players and some very mature, they don't like when I say old, mature players. Sorry, buddy.
Seasoned.
Sorry about that. Yeah, you should come over and check us out. And I'm at SMoreAD on Twitter. And I would love some more TTRPG followers. Just to tag on to, oh my goodness, I'm so super bad with names. Nikki, what Nikki had said about starting a vampire game, the channel that mostly hosts us is a Vampire the Masquerade channel. We're their only D&D content, so that's a super awesome way to go.
That's exciting. I've seen the tweets about Vancouver by Night, so I'm excited to. I haven't gotten to actually watch any of it because life, but I'm excited to actually get to chat.
You are not going to be able to ask me anything about the Vampire the Masquerade stuff because I was brought on for the D&D side of things.
Gotcha.
But they keep trying to get me into it, and I'm just like,
Do it.
It seems so confusing.
It's not.
That's what they say, but I think they're lying to me as payback for killing their characters in D&D.
Building the character is the most confusing part, but if you have help doing it after that, it's super easy.
Awesome.
Okay.
Because the DM will tell you what to run, or the storyteller will tell you what to do.
All right, and next we'll go over to Jason.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jason. On the socials, I write D&D, GM, RPG blog called shadowmain.com. So I'm also Shadowmain on Twitter. I'm Shadowmain on Instagram, blah, 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 blah. I am literally a forever GM. I run 5 games a week, sometimes 6. And this month is my 40th anniversary of the first time I played D&D. So almost forever,
That's
literally. Yeah, well, that's what you get for being old, I
Well,
guess.
I was going to say, it's your 40th anniversary of the first time you ran a D&D game. It's just my 40th anniversary.
Right. Well,
I'm turning
I
40
should
this
say
year, so...
today is actually my birthday, believe it
It
or not,
is!
too.
Happy
So,
birthday!
yeah.
Oh, happy birthday,
birthday!
Let's get some happy birthdays in chat for Jason. Yay! Well,
Thanks.
thank you for coming to spend your birthday night with us. Jason is a longtime listener, first time caller. So,
Always.
so we're happy to have you. And last but definitely not least, Bees, who's been here more than a few times.
Hello.
Hello,
There it is. Oh,
hello. We can hear you.
I hit the mute button like 9 times, and it was like, nah, stay muted, stay muted. Hello, everyone. I'm Big Bees, variety streamer, voice actor, pixel artist, TTRPG enthusiast, speedrunner, and some other things that I can't remember right now because I've been writing papers all day. Hi.
Hi.
I don't know what else to. I've been playing TTRPGs for a while. I've played a bunch. I've played Monster Hearts, D&D 4, D&D 5e, D&D. No other D&Ds. I've played Savage Worlds. I'm currently playing Aether and Steamworks, which is a game created by the wonderful Tyson Burris.
He's so cool.
He is yeah, oh my god, the guy's amazing. I'm still convinced he made a deal with a demon to get all that talent, because
Right?
he not only
He
came
has,
up with
like,
the,
so
yeah,
much
he not
talent.
only came up with the system, he like came up with it, did all the artwork, like GMs all the games. He's just brilliant. So
He is.
yeah,
He is. I'm excited that you're here. Thanks for coming to hang out.
no problem.
And yes, Ty Burris is amazing. At roll_4_chaos is his Twitter. Is that his Twitter handle? And then he's RF Chaos on Twitch. And he also did
Oh, yes.
all of the
RF
overlay
Chaos.
work for this stream. Starting soon, BRBs, all of that. So yes, we are big fans of his over here. And well, awesome. So if this is your first time coming to hang out in our chat, the way that this stream works is all of our questions come from you guys. So feel free to just drop your questions in chat. And we've got a moderator that will get them to me so that I can pose them to our group. If you have channel points and you would like to spend them, we have something called Ask My Question Next. You can use it, well, it can be used a total of 3 times per night, and that will bump your question up to the top of the queue. So if we have a long list and you have a question that you are absolutely dying to get answered, you can use your channel points for that, and we will ask your question next. That's exactly why it's called that. So we're going to start. I'm going to throw a question out to all of you guys, and hopefully we'll get some in from chat while we're chatting about that. And so my question for you all is one that I haven't asked a group in a while because we've had some other ones. So when you play at a table with actual dice, do your dice have to match?
No.
No.
Yes.
Everybody who said no, get off the stream now.
No, I'm sorry. I will admit, for the most part, they will start out that way. But
Yes.
no, you start rolling. You're telling me right now, just because they're all golden sparkly, if you roll a d20 that gives you 3 ones in a row, you're gonna be like, at least it's pretty. No,
I change
I'm
out
gonna
the whole
throw
set.
that one. I am literally gonna walk up. I'm gonna get up, walk out of my friend's house or wherever I am, launch that D20 as hard as I can into the stratosphere, and then grab another one because I will come with a literal sack of dice, which is somewhere
Yes.
I don't know where it is right now.
I will
I
Agreed.
cannot find my sack.
I will usually have 2 sets of dice. One that is specifically for the character itself, because every character has to have their own set of dice for some reason. And then my buy die, which are the buy flag colors, and I'm just in love with them because my friend got them for me. And those usually roll really well for me. So I'm usually good with that.
No?
But if I will re-roll a d20 if it's failing me, but 99% of the time I we'll use the same set.
My pre-game dice ritual is that out of my multiple sets, much like bees, I have a dice bag of hoarding, and I roll all of my d20s, and the ones that roll high then get a roll off, and those ones that roll high. So I end up with about maybe 3 or 4 sets of good pre-game rolls, and then I'll pull those whole sets. But if one of the d20s starts to fail me, only it needs to go, not the rest of the set. And really, I just go by which one is pretty in the moment that I need to make the roll. Because I tend to play clerics, and like clerics seem like pretty people to me. But as a DM, the ones that I always keep are, I have a really beautiful glitter set from Little Dragon Dice Core, a Canadian company. And one of my students bought me a metal set of dice for my birthday 2 years ago. And like they were middle school students, so he had been saving up his like allowance money for a while to get them.
That's really
And
sweet.
they are like my most precious set of dice.
That's so
and they kill
sweet.
lots of players. So I really appreciate him for getting me
There
those.
you go.
I
Yeah.
got these really pretty black and white sparkly ones that you can't see.
Ooh,
Oh.
yeah, those are pretty.
And it has hot pink on it that I got for my robot girl that wears a hot pink miniskirt.
Love it.
These are the ones that
Love
are
a
on my
themed
desk
set.
that I use the most. They are the Avalor dice. They're from Die Hard Dice, but they are specific to the Arcane Spectacles Kickstarter that they did for their dice spell trackers, their wooden spell trackers. So those are my full set that are my baby, but I have at least 12 sets within arm's reach right now. So yeah. So if I have to,
I've just ordered my first Die Hard dice. Like they're not here yet, but I ordered them
Nice.
for me and my girlfriends who have been trying to convince to play D&D or anything with me for years, and they've just started playing with me in the last year. And so I ordered them each a die or like a big
nice.
one. And so I'm really excited. When they get here, I will come back and like tell you how
You'll have
they're
to-
statistically
yeah, I was gonna say,
rolling.
let us know how it goes.
Yeah, my DM dice are just kind of basic. They're just black dice with gold lettering. Just real simple.
Classy.
But
Yeah.
they I keep them in my dope ass little
Yeah,
box here.
that screams DM dice right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And when I use them as a player, they roll like garbage. But when I use them as a DM, your character's gonna die. And I am sorry.
Yay?
I don't even have that much many superstitions. I start a game with mixed sets. I know everybody throw things at me for that, but I had a dwarven warrior one time who had a vorpal sword, and he cut off more people's heads than like everybody else that I've known with that weapon combined. So this was his dice. This is the original dice from my Tom Moldvay expert blue box set. That's how old I am. And I would play with any other dice, right? The damage dice, the initiative dice, whatever it was. But I wouldn't play that character unless I had this little plastic green dice. And now it's round. I can't use it anymore because it has no corners. But yeah.
Yeah, I've
Somebody-
met old school gamers who have those D20s that are now spheres
Yeah.
being rolled so often, and it blows my mind.
There has to be some, like when you've got like your favorite teddy bear from when you were a kid and they've got those like teddy bear hospitals where they'll like
Yeah.
restuff them. There's got to be a place for dice. There's got to be some niche market out there. Come on, get in the chat. If you
Adorable.
are like the dice resharpener, like that's got to be somebody on Etsy has a dice
Or-
resharpening for sure.
Or this is your call to action.
I'm like,
Right?
you might be onto something, and I need to start
There
a
is a
business.
hustle.
BRB
Yes.
going shopping to get a dice
Yeah.
sharpener machine.
There is a hustle here.
I think with
somewhere.
Right.
resin
Somebody can do this.
dice, that would be really easy, but like with the plastic ones, it might be a little bit more challenging.
Yeah, the old plastic ones were really bad quality.
Well, you could take an old plastic one and put it in a mold with clear resin,
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah.
You'll
that's
see
a
the
good idea,
original.
actually.
like a
That's a
dice
really good idea.
revivification process.
Oh my gosh.
It's forever
dicerevivify.com. I'm claiming that one. You guys
I
do
would
what
like
you need
once
to do.
again welcome everybody to Shared Tank.
Right? Oh my gosh, that's great. Well, on that, on this topic, Bat Duck used an Ask My Question Next and wanted to know, do you have a ritual to punish your dice that roll poorly?
Oh yeah, they go back in the zipper. Yeah, I have a spell scroll dice rolling mat, and there's zipper pouches on each side, and when they're being bad, they go back in the zipper and they don't get to come back out. Yes, that's the one that I have. Yep, exact same one, but mine's rolled out in front of me.
Oh,
Yep,
that's dope.
and they go back in the zipper. They're so beautiful. No, yours is different. Mine is okay. Now I'll get
Mine's a
mine.
map.
I like yours. Wait, what is yours
Oh,
a
yeah,
map
I
of,
would-
Nikki?
That's a great question. I don't know.
Mine are Dunamancy spells.
Oh.
Oh. Man, the one I got my brother.
And they have zipper pouches.
Yeah, this one's from Die Hard.
I got this
That's
from a
awesome.
shop on. Well, actually, her shop I think is on Etsy, but I found her on Twitter. It's one of those dice bags that holds, like, it's got a bunch of pockets.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
It holds a bunch of sets, and then you can fold it out flat, so you can use the center as a rolling tray. I can't really hold the whole thing up because they will all fall out if I do. But the outside of it is a map of Middle Earth.
Oh, sick.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
So, yeah,
Wow.
that's. I
Yeah.
like using that.
It really depends where I am. If I'm like at a friend's house, I'll just launch the die.
Yeah.
I'll just I'd be like,
Just
oh,
yeet
cool,
it.
one. Yeah, just yeet it
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
another room or something.
Mhm.
If I'm out in public, I think they might frown upon that, and then I won't be allowed to come back anymore. But
I just
so
put it
I'll
aside
probably
Sorry.
probably just I'll treat it like chewed gum. I just get a piece of
Mhm.
paper, throw it in there, and ball the paper up and set it to the side. It needs to know that it did something
Yes.
wrong. So
Agreed.
yeah,
Agreed.
Oh,
Yeah, I
gosh.
just set mine aside. I don't really do anything. I know I have friends that actually like will sage their dice if they start acting badly. They're like, I'm preparing for the game.
I don't actually use this for dice. People who have been here or been in chat before know what I use this for.
It's a trebuchet.
Yeah, it's my little dice trebuchet. I usually use it for mini marshmallows, though. I use them. When I got to play in person, I would put mini marshmallows at it and fire them at other people at the table, especially when I got bored. But sometimes I would threaten to put my D20s in there and launch them across the room. So
Until you break drywall one time.
hasn't happened yet, but we shall see. It doesn't launch them that hard, so I'll take it. But all right, RF Chaos, who we were just talking about a little bit ago, that's Ty, is in chat, and his question is: have you ever had a WTF moment in gaming?
Of course. Every game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Every game. I've got yeah, I play 6 games a week. Like 2-hour games. Like I think my longest game is 3 hours. But I play 6 games a week, and every single one, especially if I'm the DM, no matter how good my planning is, no matter how good I know my partners and my best friends and my players, I end up with something like that, and I'll just be like, nope, didn't plan for that. Completely make it up. Yep, second game of our stream, character died. Totally legit. Rolled 666 on their death saving throws. Totally made up the rest of like an eternal punishment from the Raven Queen that was so bad she sent him back to the prime material plane.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, every game is a WTF, and that's, I don't know, I think that's the fun. Like that's the chaos gremlin in me. That's like that's the parts that I remember the most. That's a good question.
I always try to write a WTF moment in the games I run. Like I want the players to say that. Me personally, there was a game I was playing in 15 years ago where the DM was running something called like a fungin. So like every room was something completely random. He had this chart that we rolled on every time we opened the door. And in one of the rooms, it was a hallway 20 feet wide with a slight concave divot in the middle that went up at like a 45-degree angle. And we're walking our way up, and then we hear a rumbling, something heavy and rolling. Indiana Jones. And we see this large boulder barreling at us, and we run, make reflex, dexterity saves, whatever it is, to get out of the way, and it hits the bottom, but not with the impact you would think a boulder like that would hit with. And we realize that this thing is made of balsa wood. And we hear a noise on the inside, and we're like, all right, well, it's balsa wood. Let's break it open. So we break it open. It's full of hornets.
Oh no.
And that was literally a like, what? Yeah. Insane. Absolutely stupid. I hated it and loved it.
That's amazing.
I think my biggest one recently was when my DM for my Friday game finally released like the climax of our story. And we realized slowly throughout this one session that we had accidentally given the bad guy all the information they needed to do all the things they did. As we slowly begin to piece together, and every single Dragon Mark house exploded after we made one bomb go off to kill the Boromar like we were planning to, and then every other Dragon Mark house exploded at the same time, and there was just mass confusion. And my character's significant other was in a house that got exploded, and she was freaking out. And then we were like worried about our kids safe, our friends safe, like who's okay. And it was just mass chaos. And I'm just like, literally, I was like having anxiety during the session as she was explaining it. I'm like, what is happening? And the second one was when I walked into a trap, which was epic after I realized it and I got killed. And it was so epic, and I'm like, oh, that was freaking genius. I'm like, kudos to you. I did not think that one through. And everybody else was like, what is going on? I'm like, we walked into a trap. The bad guy's good.
I love those moments when the DM can make the bad guy like believable and real, and like have their own motivations that exist outside of just your characters. Those are such fulfilling moments. I'm sorry, Jason, I totally cut you off.
Oh, that was a great point. No, I was just going to say, because I DM all the time, most of my, like Orc said, I'm writing WTF moments, but actually, now that I think about it, one happened last week. And if my players are online, they may still have not figured it out. So, so maybe I'm revealing something.
Headphones, players.
I had one of those trap room kind of things.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. They got through it. They lived. But it was like this. They were stuck in this cube, and like a cube of mirrors, where each side of the cube does something different. And one of the sides, a Hydra comes out and attacks them. But it was like a reflection on them. So the trick was, once you hit the Hydra, the next person who hits it, the Hydra defends as if it was the last character who hit it. So if the Paladin hits the Hydra, and then the fighter goes to hit the Hydra, now he has to hit the Paladin's armor class, and the Paladin has to make a save. So they never figured out what was going on. They were just like, why do you keep asking what my saving throw is? So I'm sure they were looking for WTF word choices all the time.
Yeah. With me, literally every session I'm a part of is a WTF moment. That's just anybody who invites me to a game, you need to know this is going to happen. Like a buddy of mine, Roy, did a one shot, and I had this. He was a fire genasi. He was a fire genasi, I think, sorcerer, and he was just paranoid. So he brought in a goblin to talk to us, but the goblin just snuck up and was like, "Hey, guess what?" And I was like, "Fireball!" and just killed him right off bat. And he was like, "What?" I was like, "You scared me. I didn't know. We're in this dungeon. This dude just said he's gonna kill us, and then you bring a goblin out. I assume he's gonna stab the ankles. So he took a fireball to the face. Guess whose ankles aren't stabbed? This guy's." And he was like, "But he had so much plot." And I was like, "Well, I'm sure he'll have plenty of plot in the astral plane where I sent him."
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I'm actually
it.
playing a character right now. Yeah, see, Ty says I'm not lying because I just joined the Friday game on RF Chaos Sparrows. They're all space pirates. So much fun. So I was like, I wonder what kind of character I can choose. I want somebody that, might bring a little bit of chaos. So after speaking with Ty, I created a turtle character in the kobold races that he's come up with. Pretty much a turtle character that is old and kind of senile, can't hear well at all. Like he is his hearing is awful, and he mixes potions. He's a brewer, so all my potions have random side effects, and it's a table I have to roll on. So, like the first time I met everybody, the security guard on the ship tried to pick me up. I freaked out, hit him with a potion, made him he ended up only being able to speak slang for an hour. Then I threw a potion at this little orange dude, and it made him grow a second head, which tried to attack him. So he ran off screaming. And then we actually got into a fight, and I was like, "I got this," and I drank a potion to get strong, and my arms doubled in size, and I was like, "Yeah!" But then one of the side effects was that I had two saber teeth that just dropped down like 3 feet. Yeah, and so I'm just like this super swole saber-toothed turtle, and then I drank another potion to counter that. And what ended up happening is all the stuff from before, but 2 things happened. I had a tentacle come out of my chest that helped me fight, and my hand fell off and was replaced by a bone blade. Oh. So I'm running around as this abomination to God and man alike, just like, oh! And it was just... I mean, that entire session was just 4 hours of WTF, because there was so much that happened. The brief rundown without any context, which is the best way to do it, is that we ran into a port, both a little girl and a robot almost got stranger dangered by the owner of the port. He tried to fight them and then eat someone else's brain. They fought back with magic. We made it there, summoned a meat mountain. A lot of people died in the meat mountain. Bees tried to attack us. Then a guy named Bees, who summoned the bees, came after us and tried to attack one of our party members named Bee. And then everybody got hit with a magic grenade that grew hair all over their body. And so we're running around like giant Wookiees in a massive pool of meat. So yeah.
On a chaos scale of 1 to all the bananas on Jason's shirt, how normal was this experience for that campaign?
It was about a Thursday,
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. All right.
Yeah.
Oh
it was, getting close to the, like a 1 to 5. It was up there on that 4. Not the craziest, but it was still a little more than a usual Tuesday. So
right, yeah. If you would have come out and been like, "No, that's business as normal," I'd been like, "Wow, there's a lot going on all the time." You weren't the chaos maker. Yeah. Everything is the chaos. That's Other than the eldritch abomination of a turtle that I was, everything else was not my fault that time. So
that time, keyword.
Yeah. That time.
Yeah, Big Bees is a what the fuck moment. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Oh my gosh.
I think as a DM, my favorite moment that was semi-chaotic because I was coming up with it on the fly was the players met 2 Gith warriors, and I'm like, what am I doing with these guys? And like, this is all off the top of my head because I had no freaking clue where I was going with this story. And I decided, okay, the Gith don't like mind flayers because they enslaved them, so they're here to fight mind flayers. You guys want to fight mind flayers? And they're like, yeah, let's go fight mind flayers. So they go to kill the mind flayers, and like, cool, you helped us. We owe you a boon, but we're gonna teleport back to the astral plane. Do you guys want to go to the astral plane? And they all said yes. So I made a futuristic city off the top of my head in the astral plane that is like actually now Shadowrun-ish. So that was fun.
Interesting.
Epic.
Yeah, I was very excited because now I get to play Shadowrun kind of, but also D&D, which I understand way more.
I'm trying to think. I know that they have existed, but none are coming to the top of my head right now. Oh well. I'm sure one will hit me like at 2 a.m, and I'll just have to like put it out there on Twitter. Or
Wake up
something.
in the middle of the night, like, there it is.
It was that one.
In the podcast that gets released next week, your voice will just cut in right now being like, this was the thing. And just it will have like no reaction from any of us, but
Right.
you just edit it in post. That's
Right.
okay.
Yeah,
there you
that's
go.
exactly what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
Here, we
yeah,
just
yeah.
react now. Oh my god, that's ridiculous.
Oh man, that's
What?
crazy.
Oh snap!
Oh my goodness. That's so funny. Yeah. Chat's like, just tweet it out, and then
The
Bat Duck,
whole
who's in
word?
chat, does all of our helps me with all of our editing, and so he's like, yeah, we can make that happen. Oh, yeah, Chat just came up with one. I had a character that's a ranger who, in Pathfinder First Edition, who, as a feature of her class, can shapeshift into a bear. Shapeshifter is a thing that's a ranger ability, a ranger subclass in Pathfinder First Edition, and she managed to morph into a bear and then tightrope across a rope and over an alleyway, like on a rooftop chase. It was, and she was like the only member of the party that was able to do it on the first try. It was the weirdest thing. It was like, what just happened? Caught up with the person we were chasing, and they were like, why am I being chased by a bear? So, oh my goodness. All right, let's see. We got another question that came in from Diagnosed Matt. Matt would like to know, if you have to give yourself a D&D class in real life, what would you be?
I actually know this one because my group of friends called the Pod Squad, we all answered this, and someone drew us a picture of all of us and our characters, and
that's
it's
so
my
Oh.
it's my banner on Twitter, and it's adorable. But it is the Creation Bard.
Oh,
That is the one that I would be because I like to craft things and create things.
100%. Like a bard is like, I feel like if you're a streamer and if you're a DM and you don't pick bard for yourself, then there has to be a really interesting story why. Because it seems cliche, but really, like, bards are the best class. I'll put that out there. I don't know, fight me, at me, whatever. Bards are the best class, and I'm proud to be one in real life.
So I'll add to that.
Okay.
I don't think I would be a bard.
What?
Fully. I
Okay.
believe I would be a barbarian.
That's a good show.
Because I can, in times of extreme duress, summon a fury that is known by very few, and I can get mad and punch stuff, and I'm a big dude, so I can raw with the best of them. But
So-
I also see myself in, I am a charismatic gentleman, I'd like to think. And, I think I can do both.
You took like enough levels in bard to get your totem, and
Yeah.
then you were like, okay, and bard for the rest. Yeah, I'm okay, sure.
Yeah, just like bees, I would definitely be a barbarian. I have a lot of anger that I've been able to calm as I've gotten older, very charismatic, charming, and I can, spin a tale, whatever. But yeah, there's definitely those times where when I'm driving is when my rage comes out. If I see a car without a turn signal, change a lane or turn in, I am like just raging.
See, we can spin a tail as well as we can spin an axe.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm a bard too. When I'm not playing D&D, I'm a musician. So.
Oh, nice.
I guess I don't really have a choice, right?
Yeah.
A literal bard. That is epic. What do you play?
I play blues harmonica for the most part.
Ooh,
All
nice.
right.
That's why I have the banana shirt. It works good at gigs.
Yeah.
Makes me stand out a little more.
Yeah, I started being a bard before I even knew D&D existed because I played instruments for 13 years, and then I was introduced to D&D.
Yeah. Musical theater kid and introduced to D&D. Yeah.
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 I would probably say, like most everybody here, I think I have like 1 level in Bard, but I'm also like, I'm the mom friend. I'm the, so I'm probably like some weird combination of like ranger, cleric, something or other, somewhere in there. I don't really know how that would look, but it's probably some class that's never been created before. So, yeah.
You would be the one to make sure you have that you could provide food and water and shelter for everybody.
Pretty much, yeah.
And also patch them up when they hurt.
Patch them up when they hurt.
Got your food, got your snacks.
Yeah, but also because of being a parent, that also means I have a level in barbarian. So.
Of course.
Yep.
Very multi-classed.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking earlier when everyone was saying how sweet Luna is. I'm like, but I know Luna is a mom, and there is a tempest that you do not want to experience when she is angry.
It is so true.
Luna, do you feel like, though, as a mom, because a year ago I had an 11-year-old, and right now in my house I have an 11-year-old, a 17-year-old, an 18-year-old, and a 20-year-old who are all, I am now the mom of 4.
Yeah.
Which has happened in like the last 8 months. Do you feel like it's barbarian? Because there are times where I feel it's more like fighter because of the action surge. Like, because I can choose, like I get those extra just grit moments of like, yeah, we need to step this up and take it to another level. I'm exhausted. I haven't slept. Dinner needs to be made. Laundry needs to be made. Everybody needs to do homework. I also have my life that I need to do. Now I need another gear. I need another action on this turn, please. And like, I feel like fighter more adequately describes the mom that I'm turning into.
So that's probably true for some moms, not me. I'm like cruising at 60 until I have to ramp it up to 900. And so I think for me it's probably more barbarian, because it's just, I'm a single mom and it's just me and my kiddo, and she's 13 now, so it's like she's old enough to be not self-sufficient, but like she can do her own thing and, like bike to a friend's house and stuff like that. But like, it's like okay, you need to clean your room. Okay, you need to do this. Okay, you need to do that. I said clean your room,
Sure. Yeah, I get it now. Yeah.
You're a high enough level barbarian where even if you're fatigued, you can still go into rage.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would actually put it as for me as a mom, because I try to be a mediator, mostly because I have an adopted foster kid. So there's a lot of things that I need to make sure I have to level them out and I can't scream, because that doesn't end well. I can't ground, I can't yell, I can't do any of those types of things, because that's just going to escalate the situation. I have to be like, okay, nope, we're going to calm down. We're going to explain this calmly. Okay, you can't act like that. And so it's like kind of like a monk mediator type of thing, just like a meditative type of deal.
Or even like it sounds like you've subclassed bards. Like you've got a little bit of like the College of Eloquence and a little bit of the College of Creation. Like you're all the bards.
I'm okay with that too, because my character is a mom wizard.
Mom wizard.
That's what someone just said in chat.
I wish I could just cast spells.
So
like, no, go
when
to
everything
sleep.
comes at you at once, it's Maybe you're a wild magic sorcerer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a wild magic surge.
It's like, no,
Yeah,
here's your
that's
meds,
pretty much what it
please.
is. Summon snacks, summon drinks, summon nap,
Summon medication.
summon medication, summon go the hell to sleep.
Okay,
Yes.
so after this stream, we now know that we need to buy the website for our dice Revivify, whatever that was called.
DiceRevivify.com.
Yeah.
Revivadice.
Revivadice.
Love it. Love it.
And we need to
Yeah,
write a
Revivify, there you go.
D&D class that is a mom wizard.
Yes.
There you
Okay,
go.
so we got to get on those two things. We're making a to-do list here. Oh my gosh.
Here, though, I'm sure we can all agree that toddlers are just barbarians, angry
Facts.
Oh,
drunk.
for real.
Yeah,
But
that's
they
a
have
fact.
tireless rage.
That
Yeah.
also have access to the wild magic table because
Yeah.
they're
Yeah,
random. Like,
100%.
yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I
and that's why they have
just. Go
they
ahead.
have Fury the Small also.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Halfling nimbleness. Like,
Mm.
oh yeah,
Yep.
yes, they are stacked.
I will.
And luck.
I-
Definitely halfling luck.
Yeah.
Oh my god. They got halfling and rogue luck. They got every luck ability in there.
They
I
have the best abilities of all classes and none of the
Yeah.
weaknesses.
And the youngest kid gets bountiful luck that they can spread to their siblings.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that
Evil
that's how that works.
influences.
Yeah.
With advantage against, or advantage against.
Advantage against Mom Wizard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for. I was trying to word it. I couldn't do it.
Hidden ability secret explosion.
Oh, God.
God.
And as we have been talking about this, I've just come up with like the best game idea where everybody has to play a patron of a warlock. And like the whole campaign is about this group of patrons who are like, oh my God, what are they getting into this time? Like, I feel
my
like there's
God,
so
that's
much there.
amazing.
I want
You're
invited
just
to
playing
this.
a parent.
You're
That is-
just playing
oh
a
my
parent.
God, yes.
I want
That
in
would be
this,
so
please.
good. You're playing a
Right?
warlock and your
Please,
patron is
please message
Mom.
me if you do this. I am down.
And then we have to.
Patrons and parents, the
Yeah,
new
patrons.
D&D game.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we have to play as the
We gotta
parents
do
that we
it.
just stated we were.
That's
Oh
right.
my
That's right. Oh God.
80% of the game is just us going.
It's
really just
it's
do
too
that.
quiet.
No, I
Like,
need, I need wine.
no,
I
no,
need
because
wine.
The other
happened.
20% of
It's
us is
too
going, who's got
quiet.
the bottle of wine?
Yeah, the wine right here.
The campaign starts in a tavern and they never leave.
Yeah,
They would
exactly.
drink and complain.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, Ethios. I know you just sat down, dude, but he's at it again. What? No, I just talked to. He said he understood. God, son of a.
Oh my god. I
How
mean,
many times do I have to visit him this month?
Yeah.
that is I am so into this. I love this
Yeah.
idea completely.
We got to do this.
I am so down.
Please.
So we have 3 things on the to-do list now.
Yeah, now we have a
Yes.
I
I'll
know.
have to make a Mom Wizard
right.
class.
We need a mom wizard white a chalkboard wall for mom wizard.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah. A portable, like it's just like, and it unfolds and just is always available.
Right.
Is yeah. Mhm.
What's the name of the? Oh, divine intervention.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone goes to do divine intervention. It's like, no, I told you not to do that.
Yeah.
I told you not to do
Oh,
that.
yeah,
You didn't
yeah,
want to
yeah,
listen.
yeah.
Oh, no.
Yes, we're gonna have to create a totally new game like mechanic rule set for no, fuck around and find out. Oh, sorry, we're
It's fine.
PG-13. Like, no, you brought this on yourself. Sorry, you don't get my advantage anymore.
It'll just be called. What did I tell you?
Patrons,
did I tell you?
patrons get a special ability that's just called
What did I tell
the
you?
look.
It's just a gif of the look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
I'm just
Oh.
disappointed.
Yeah.
Oh,
Beautiful.
oh my
Disappointed
gosh.
is going to be
gets the
one of the
silent
ability
spell, Always
checks.
prepared.
Yes.
Roll for disappointment.
Roll for disappointment.
This is fantastic.
Oh my god.
I will turn this game around.
I love it. I love it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
We
However,
could put the whole thing on Kickstarter, and all of our
Yeah.
Kickstarter backers can like submit
Oh.
like a parent cliche, something or other that we have to involve.
Yes.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Power word disappointment.
That's
Gotta
so
love
good.
the chat. It's so good. It's
Thanks,
so
Mom.
It's beautiful.
good. They all get advantage on performance
Oh,
checks.
The
because
Southern Mom
Oh.
ability, bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
love it. There's so
such
many.
an evil term right there.
Oh,
It can be used to give advantage or disadvantage.
yep.
Oh,
Right?
that might
It's
be
like,
a DM only ability.
like a
Right.
fate die mechanic.
Yeah.
But that the patrons get to imbue on other people. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I could talk about this for the rest of the night, but we do have some other
For real.
questions that I would like to get to. Let's see. The next question that we have is, again, from RF Chaos. If they have, how have TTRPGs and being involved in them improved your life?
I'm here.
Right?
I'm here
That's
getting
my
to talk
answer.
to you crazy people. Yeah, love it. Of course.
It definitely got me through the pandemic.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
A bit, yeah, because I only started getting into the TTRPG community on Twitter, I think in February of this year.
Is that all it was? Man, I feel like
I
it's been
think
a
it
lot
was
longer
just
than I've been
February.
talking with you.
No, so it's only been like, 6 months. Damn.
Hmm.
Yeah. Crazy.
I actually do have an answer for this one. This or tabletop games in general have taught me how to become a better face character in real life.
Mhm.
I am a very introverted person. I do not like talking to people in person, and having to play as bards in games or face characters in games, I've had to learn how to interact and deal with the consequences in a fake situation. So it taught me how to interact in real life situations. So I became better in real life at it, which helped me become a better mom because now I know how to like mediate. So between my old job and boss and that, I'm like, I kind of am a better talker, which means I became a podcaster. So now all that made my life better.
Yeah, my buddy has a belief that if you are not using TTRPGs as a vehicle to improve your speech or some aspect of yourself, then you're doing it wrong. Which I guess, I mean, you can play games to have fun, but I think a lot of us, when we play games, we definitely use aspects of ourselves that we may or may not be comfortable with as characters, and we definitely do improve things about ourselves when we play the game. I mean, starting in AD&D with Thaco, I was awful in math, and now I am a genius in math.
It's actually it was funny because the first time I played a face character, I literally didn't want to do something. I didn't want to face a consequence. I didn't want to make a decision because I was so afraid to. And my friend, who's a really good friend of mine, he's like, if you don't make this decision and play this out, I'm kicking you from my game. Like, you need to do this. This is part of the story. So I stepped up and did it, and then I felt better because of it. But it was just like, anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had those players in games who didn't want to be like the party leader or like face of the party, so to speak. And you would definitely be like, hey, why don't you have the spotlight for a little bit? What do you have to say? And like slowly kind of work with them, build them up. And then next thing you know, they're the ones who are like, burn this town down. We're taking everything. And you're like, whoa, all right. I created a monster.
Oh, dial it back.
Too
Dial
far,
it
too
back.
far.
Yeah.
Let's turn it back to a 4.
For me, it's actually affected my professional life because I'm a freelance graphic artist.
Oh.
So whatever projects come my way, that's my job that week, whatever. But TTRPGs have gone from being my hobby, because I like to create stuff, to a big part of my actual career because I started teaching art at an online school, and now I actually teach D&D, which is why I run 5 times a week to teenagers.
That's awesome.
So it's part of my profession now. And because of that, I write my blog, and a lot of my blog posts are about how to teach D&D to new players or kids. And starting, I don't know when it'll be up, but pretty soon, I started writing a series of articles for Cobalt Press for how to teach D&D to new players. So I guess it's actually part of my profession now.
I love
That's
that.
awesome.
Like I am a high school now. Currently, I'm at a high school, but I'm a special ed teacher. And one of the few times that my kids get to truly integrate and be just one-on-one with their peers and just be even with their peers is at our D&D club that I facilitate. And so that's always just really special, because all of these things that we practice in a special ed classroom about reading the room and facial expressions and tone of voice, we get to then actually just make them relevant. And so I love D&D from that. But from a very real life standard, although it's not technically tabletop, there's nothing that is currently in my life that I don't owe to RPGs. I met my husband. We say we met online and people like assume it was like, oh, Match.com. But no, it was like in 2004, 2003, before any of that stuff existed. We met playing a Star Trek roleplay email post game. And a friend introduced us. We were married a year later. I moved to a different country. My house, my career, my husband, my kids, everything in my life is because of RPGs and because I had that. And so like I have this real kinship, but for tabletop, we've always been like the gaming family. Like people come over and we pull out games and stuff. But the RPGs we picked up a couple of years ago because my friend, the introvert, was like, oh, my brother would never let me play with him and his friends when they would come over. And I was like, I've never played, but I'll run a game for you guys. And now it's August. We're about to hit 2 years in that campaign.
Wow.
And so, getting to see them all grow and my introvert friend is still a little bit introverted, but she ran her first DM session for us this year. And like, that's such a huge thing. So yeah, TTRPGs have so much power and we can pull so much out of them. But I'm always going to be that person who points out that it's not always the job of TTRPGs or a DM to be a therapist.
Right.
So sometimes it's okay to just have fun too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is such an adorably nerdy love story.
Oh my God. That is not the most nerdy thing about me, but sure. Yeah. I met playing a Star Trek role-playing email game.
That's pretty nerdy.
It's pretty nerdy. It's pretty nerdy, but I haven't told you all of the details. That story even gets nerdier within itself. It is nerdception up in there.
Oh, go ahead, Beast.
Oh, go ahead. Oh no, I was gonna say there's not really like much I can say. I mean, it hasn't like. I mean, I guess it kind of has. I don't know. It's difficult because it hasn't really changed any aspects on the outside. But it definitely helped me with this move because I moved up here to Orlando and I know no one, and it's been like 2-3 years now, and I think I have like one friend up here. One.
Oh, you live close to me. You live like 2 hours away from me if you're in Orlando.
Oh no. Yeah. So yeah, and then I just this has been my only source of socialization, and so yeah. And it sucks. I'm used to be one of those where it's like, okay, it's Friday. All right, everybody's going to come over. We're going to barbecue, or we're going to play poker. We're going to have board game night or D&D. And I'm used to people being here. But now it's not. And it sucks. But then, I'll just hop on my computer and be like, hey, who wants to play a game? And bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah.
I was so happy when my best friend moved up close to me. Like we grew up in South Florida, so she moved up to Tampa area where I live and moved in with me. And it was like so great because I was like, yes, you're by me now and we can play D&D together. And it's like 15-minute drive and it's just awesome. It's the only one of the biggest reasons why I don't want to move from Florida, even though I hate Florida with every fiber of my being.
Don't get me started on that. We can create a whole show just on that. Yeah.
Why do you hate Florida podcast?
How much time you got?
That'll be a limited series run on the Patrons and Parents game of just Escape from Florida.
Oh my
There
God.
is an alligator man monster NPC that I found Just saying.
Well,
Oh my
He
God.
pulls
Yeah.
alligators out of himself and tosses them at you.
If you're
nice.
from the Midwest, you could collab that into Escape from Illinois.
Mm. See, we got games ready.
We
We
have
have all
what I'm
these
saying,
ideas.
Yeah, right?
Lots of mid-season break series that we're ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah. 3 or 4 days, man. We're good to go. I was going to say, I think for me, playing TTRPGs, both in person and online, has vastly opened my social circle. Which seems weird to say because it was such a not social circle thing, when it first really came around. But I got into it from my now ex-husband got me into playing with a group of mostly mutual friends, a few of his friends. And then I ended up once our divorce was finalized, I kept the group. I was the one that ended up staying and playing with them. And then also just through getting involved in streaming TTRPGs and the TTRPG community on Twitter and all of that, it just has vastly, like I said, expanded my social connections and, people that I legitimately, refer to as my friends. 9 times out of 10 during the week, or I guess I should say 6 times out of 7 during the week, I'm hanging out in a Discord chat with people that I've never met face to face, but I totally want to spend my time with hanging out. And we don't even have to be playing anything together. A lot of times all of us are playing a different game, but it's just kind of fun to be like, oh my God, this funny thing just happened in my game, or, whatever's going on. But then also I got to start this show, and through that, again, expanding more of my social circle and getting to meet other really amazing people and learn about other really amazing games, and that sort of thing has just been really awesome. It's really been incredible. But that, like, socialization aside, it also has forced me to become a more creative thinker in my everyday life. I look a lot more at problems in the day-to-day, and I'm like, okay, what would this character do to solve this problem? How would that character, and no, shooting an arrow at it isn't an answer, but
One of my character's answers for every single question, we punch it. But
and that may be legitimate in some real world cases, but
it's like, it's not working, punch it.
yeah,
It's not, don't.
no, but it is, I mean, it's true. Like in dealing with things at work, I have a job where I sit behind a computer a lot. And so it's sometimes just thinking about, creative ways. I make a lot of training videos for my job. I'm a training coordinator in my day-to-day work. So I make a lot of training videos. So, I can add things in, I can look at something that could be a really dry topic and make it a little bit more entertaining just because, like, oh, this would be really kind of fun to add in, or, something like that may not mean anything to anybody who doesn't understand it. Like, it just sounds like, oh, that's kind of funny. But then maybe there's somebody else in the room who knows D&D or knows something like that. And it's like, oh, there's a little, it's like a nice little Easter egg to put in there. So it's how I find my people.
Yeah, that kinship piece, I
Yep.
think, is really, just, when I wear like a nerd shirt
Yes.
to school, or whatever, or I'm just out and about, and somebody will mention something. It's like, oh yeah, like I was right on that precipice of a group of millennials where nerds were not totally like treated like junk in high school, and which I know was a reality for so many of my friends in, the TTRPG and nerd circles. But I was right at that stage where it was like, and also I was like a theater kid, so, the nerds were with us anyway, but I don't remember that being a part of like our reality. So I don't have those bad memories. Like a little bit of the gatekeeping, but because I'm a girl, there was a little bit of like the gatekeeping piece of it. But I think that kinship piece, and as Bees was saying, the fact that we can jump online, I play 6 games a week, none of them are in person. And, we moved across the country. We moved 4 time zones and 6,000 kilometers a year ago and left everybody we knew. We had never been here. We had never been east of like the Rockies, and moved to the east coast, further east than Maine. And because of Discord, Zoom, Roll20, D&D Beyond, all of those things, I still get to see all my friends multiple times a week. I still get to have those moments, those shared connections. And it's not just about the game and the story, although those are important. But the other thing that I love about TTRPGs is those moments in between when you're joking about the real life thing, or your friend who you've never met sends you 30 boxes of Jiffy cornbread mix because she heard you talk about how much you really missed cornbread meatloaf. Like those moments are really important, that it's not just about the characters in the game and me, it's about also my friends. So I totally hear what all you and echo what all of you said about that.
Yeah, I've met so many people specifically over the last year, but even when I moved to this area and I went to a game store, I met people in my local area. I became really good friends with those people and played D&D with them. And I'm still friends with some of those people, and we don't get to see each other as much, but we played like 8-hour games of like Mech Warrior, Shadowrunner, or whatever, and it was fantastic. And then now I've had like over 100 people on my show between discussions and one-shots, and I'm still friends with a lot of them. I have over 2 or 3 dozen people that I talk to on a regular basis, which previously I talked to 2 people, my best friend and my husband, and that was it. And now like it's little things like I got sent a D20 with a little note for Christmas from one of my friends that was online, or we did a gift exchange for a Secret Santa gift exchange, and little things like that. Or somebody will message me and say, "Hey, you've been quiet on the Discord. How are you good?" And like, it's just those little things that now you have and you didn't realize you had.
Yeah.
And I really, really like that. Lots of friends.
Yeah. Well,
Lots of cool people.
we are at a great spot to pause for a break. So we're going to do that now, and we'll be back in like 5 to 10 minutes. Let our guests get up and stretch and refill drinks and all of that stuff, and we will see you in just a few.
More wine.
And we're back. Hello, everybody. I hope you all had a good break, had a chance to free the pea and free the water elementals and all of that good stuff that has to happen. So we've got some questions that came in just before we went to break, and this one I think is a very, very fun one to start back with. It came in from Bat Duck. What is the name of your TTRPG garage band, and what genre of music does your garage band play?
Oh God, I'm so bad with coming up with names.
The only reason this is fresh in my head is because I think it was Lex on Twitter the other day mentioned something about a goblin biker gang, and I called it the Everlasting Gob Choppers. And
I love that.
That's what the band name would be, the Everlasting Gob Choppers, and it would just be garbage, absolute garbage, just thrash metal.
That's amazing. I'm so sad I missed that whole interaction.
We, in our Tuesday night game, Would Be Heroes, the DM was just trying to describe like a mechanic and was like, yeah, it was like a natural 20. And he was like, yeah, the arc of the parabola of the arrow. And I was like, arc of the parabola, band name, I claim it. And so we've been joking as different like things have come up that normally we'd put on like a t-shirt or something, that those are the singles from the hit band Arc of the Parabola. So I'll have to say like Arc of the Parabola would be our band. And we would play like that, like mid 90s, kind of like new wave punk, like kind of like early No Doubt, where it could go like a little bit into the punk and like a little bit into the pop, and like could have a bunch of different things, but also covers of like all kinds of different things. That's what I'm gonna go with.
I like that.
Yeah, like No Doubt, Offspring era.
Yes, totally. Like a little bit of Avril Lavigne, like a little bit of that, like skateboard, Vans, chain wallet, corduroy pants. Like that's our deal.
Man, let me think. I got the name. I'm just trying to think of the music, the type of music we would play.
Well, what type of what's the name of the band?
Oh, it's got to be Bees and the Bees Knees. Or Bees in the Knees, one of those two, something like that.
Big Bees and the Bees Knees.
Yeah, Big Bees and the Bees Knees. There we go. And then I don't know what music we would play though.
There's those bands that do like they show up at like jazz festivals or music festivals, and they've got like a little bit of like gypsy, and they've got accordions and violins, but they can go hard. Like I feel like that would be a good, like just a little bit chaotic, slightly steampunk, but
big band and swing. That's I'm sorry, someone said that.
Yeah,
in
like
chat.
that. Yeah, that was Jason. Big band swing.
I think mine would be Eye of the Bard Holder. And it would be a Lindsey Sterling-esque Pentatonics X type band.
Ooh, nice.
All right.
Love it.
Yeah, very melodic.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
All right, I think mine is Jefferson Astroplane.
Ooh, there you
awesome.
go. Old school.
And just totally psychedelic, like nobody even understands what you're talking about. Kind of space music.
That was.
I heard if you play that. Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead,
Go ahead. Oh no, I was gonna be like, I heard if you play it backwards in the astral plane, you'll understand what I'm saying.
That's how you cast a banishment spell.
Yeah,
that's right.
It was such an epic answer that you just gave that I could hear my husband laughing from 2 rooms over. So you've won him as a fan tonight.
I don't know what mine would be.
Something to do with cats?
Probably something to do with like cats and lullabies and like, I don't know, lo-fi
so
music
like
or something.
smooth jazz.
Smooth jazz. It would be like you know what kind of jazz it would be? It would be like the oh gosh, what's the name of the trio that does all the music for the Charlie Brown movies?
Oh,
that's way before my time.
Geez.
Oh,
shoot! Now I gotta look it up.
You asked me, so I can't think of it.
Raid.
Let's see.
Nice.
Vince Guaraldi.
The Vince Guaraldi trio. That's it. Yeah.
Oh.
It would be like that. It would be like, literally like a piano and like
It
would be stuff like that.
Yeah.
My brain immediately went to Luna and the Cats.
Oh, there you go.
Luna.
See, I thought Nikki would say that her genre would be R&B holder.
Oh.
See,
like
that would have been clever. But I don't know. I have no butt. I don't have a butt to that.
Oh no, it's all good.
I was gonna pick classical music before, but because I really like classical music, but it didn't really fit.
Oh my goodness!
Like the epic orchestrals. I think it would be such a good name for epic
orchestrals.
Yes.
It's like Azamar, Bard.
Yes. Yeah.
Cleric, Paladins. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
Because But I have a weird
Oh,
taste in music, either 90s or classical, or like
Okay, so
a
we're
cappella.
starting a
Like
band
those
as
are the
well,
three
on top
options.
of
I
everything.
listen to everything except country.
Yeah, that's kind of how I am too.
No.
There's a place and a time for for a Garth Brooks song to show up in a playlist. Like I'm not totally opposed to that, but I currently live in a place where 9 out of 10, maybe 9 out of 11 radio stations are country. There's a French one because we live very close to a French speaking province. And then there's one that's not, and usually it's like the public broadcasting company of Canada. It's like the CBC. So I'm not that into country though.
Yeah,
So-
my hell was I was in the back seat of my parents' Prius with my husband as we were driving to Tennessee, which is about an 18-hour drive for us.
Oh.
And they had control of the stereo, and it was country the entire time. And the station we were listening to just kept playing the same 7 songs over and over and over again.
So your parents drive a Prius but listen to country.
Yeah.
There
Well,
is some
my dad
cognitive
also
dissonance.
has my dad also has a truck. Like,
Okay, sure,
okay.
sure.
So, but my
I-
mom wanted a Prius because her drive was an hour away from home.
Okay, that's totally
To
fair.
work.
I will say that there is this guy that I follow on TikTok who is like his whole shtick as a country musician is that he's gay and out and proud and a Democrat, and like all of his songs are very legitimately like good music, but don't follow like traditional tropes. And I will go out of my way to listen to his stuff for sure. And I wish I could remember who he was, but I cannot.
Chat, get on that one for us, okay?
Yeah, there we go. We need help.
I'm just gonna TikTok for the rest of this episode, and I'll see you guys in an hour.
That's a terrible, terrible rabbit hole to go down.
Seriously.
Oh my gosh. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's awful.
most country music, though, if you listen to it backwards, like the dog lives and the wife comes
Oh,
back.
yeah, yeah.
and-
Very
That's the
inspirational.
old joke.
yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. The next question that we have is from. I am going to butcher this name. I'm sorry. Circedon. How do you deal with rule ninjas, the players who have read the rule book a lot?
And
Yeah.
that's how you deal with them. Yeah. So okay.
Yeah.
Guess
Thank
what?
you.
You know, that's the first rule. Like I always tell new players, they're like, "Oh well, you know, what should I know? What should I do? Blah blah blah." Just have fun. To hell with the rules. The rules are guidelines. They're not law. You know,
Yeah.
you are the DM. You are law. So if you want to let somebody seduce a rock, sure, go ahead, let them do it. But if somebody's like, oh well, you can't because they're not actually alive. Oh, okay, well, oh my God, don't you hate it when that aneurysm hits? What aneurysm? Bye bye.
Cirque, excellent question. It's a hard C for the second one. I
Okay.
know for he's one of our viewers. He's also my husband. And it's such a good question, babe. I say thank you. Because I don't have that kind of time or interest. That's not why I play the game. So I do want to honor the fact that that is a really important reason that some people play is they like the rules. They like min-maxing. That's the enjoyment they get out of the game. I don't want to tell them they're wrong for playing that. So I try to balance it of like, okay, I'm not going to do what you're telling me that you think I should do based on your interpretation of the rules, but this is the reason why. And if that doesn't work for you, then let's figure something else out together. And because I'm a player and they're a player, we need to figure that out.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
I don't have a good reason, I try so hard. Sometimes it's hard as a DM, and the parents in this group will also understand. You really have to fight against that instinct to just slap down because you just want to be in control and it's a compliance issue.
Mhm.
I'm God. Shut up.
Yes. And legit, and that is the reason some of us like being the DM is we're a little bit of
Rocks fall, you all die.
control freaks.
I think sometimes like if it's
100%.
just if they come out of nowhere and they're like, hey, but the rules are like this, then yeah, oh, that's definitely like you can sit down and talk to them, you can everything. But if it's to a point where like you can't play the game because they're
Right.
constantly like, no, well, you can't do that because of this,
Right.
well, you can't do that because of this, and the
Yeah.
rest of the party isn't having any fun, yeah, I think it's time to just bring down the iron hammer that time.
I
But
tend
if it's just someone bringing it up and being like, well, the rules say this, or everybody's kind of confused as to how something works, and then they're like, well, the rules say this, blah blah blah, then yeah, that's fine, that's part of the game. That's it's just what I'm talking about when I'm saying kill them off, get rid of them kind of thing, is when they just go like everything. They a character farts and they're like, well, you have to roll this because of that, and it gets to the point where no one's having fun, then you gotta nip that in the bud.
Yeah, I tend to be the person, the one that you're talking about that's the positive side of that, where it's like, I think the rule's this actually, and it's more like of a, hey, just so you know, because
Yeah,
sometimes like
that's
I'm
fine.
playing with
Yeah.
new DMs or new players, and I'm just like, I think this is how it works. But a lot of times the way that we handle it is, we'll play it the rule of cool way or the DM's rule, and then while that's happening, we look it up, and then we'll say, okay, well, here's what the rule is, so we know going forward how it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
So, like, for example, I couldn't remember with Moonbeam if I could, because it says you can move it. So I was like, oh, well, then I should be able to just move it through a group of people, right? So that's what my logic was. And we didn't want to look it up at the time. So we just moved it through the 3 people. All of them took damage. And then we looked it up and realized, no, it stops on the first person. And we're like, okay, now we know that going forward. But rule of cool was they were all in a line. Moonbeam just went, shoop.
And the
But
other
that's
good way,
overpowered.
I love that, Nikki. But the other, and I think that like the good way to engage the rules lawyers is, I always say that any TTRPG is a bit like Monopoly. No house plays it exactly the same way. Like there's always house rules for Monopoly. That's true for TTRPGs as well. And so I try to engage my rules lawyers. First off, if they're like that level of annoying that it's stopping me or other players from having fun and it's clear they're not having fun, go find a table that's right for you, buddy. Like I want you to be happy and I want you to find a table that's a good fit for you. But if you can find happiness at our table because we're your friends, or I'm your aunt or whatever, like then by all means come and join us. You're going to be the keeper of our house rules. And you're going to be the one that when I say, hey, I remember making a ruling on this, but I don't remember what it was. You better remember what that rule is, buddy, because that's your role in our game. And like honor them and like bring them in, incorporate that need that they have. I love incorporating my rules lawyers in that way.
Yeah, I think Sarah's right. Well, my first answer is read my column because it's an upcoming subject that I'm going to write about. But yeah, I think when it gets to the point, like B said, when it gets to the point where rules lawyer is irritating other players, you have to do something about it, right? So what I've done, because it's happened to me a few times, so then outside of game, if I can, I'll talk to them and just say, hey, I appreciate your help, but like if they're helping other players when they weren't asked to help, things like that. So I'll talk to them, but then you got to kind of throw them a bone, like what Sarah's saying. That I'll like there are rules that I just can't remember. For the life of me, I can't keep track of the difference between grappled and restrained. So in that case, I'm just going to turn to the rules lawyer and ask him, hey, do you remember this rule? Because if you do that once in a while, it'll like satisfy their needs almost to be the keeper of the rules, right? And I guess it's a line you have to walk.
I've always been sorry.
No, go ahead.
I've always been a rules lawyer, since that's the new verbiage for it. But I was very adamant about rules when I first got into D&D, because I started with AD&D, which had a mountain of rules, and then third edition 3.5 had about an equal mountain of rules, and I memorized all of them because I don't like being wrong. But then I learned in the forever DM position, you are often put into a corner where you may or may not be wrong because you're managing so many things. You're going to slip up. You're going to make mistakes. And I've gotten to the point now where if someone calls me out and I'm doing something wrong with a character or monster's ability, I'm not running it right. I'll be like, all right, my bad. This will be the last round of that. And then going forward, we'll follow the rule book. We do the same thing with characters. If a character has been running a spell, ability, class, feature, whatever, incorrectly, we let it slide. It's no big deal. Going forward, we'll try and remember that this is how it's supposed to be. But we're not going to get bogged down. We're not going to slow the game down and leaf through hundreds of pages of rules to try and figure out what's the correct way to play. And the rule of cool, I guess, I don't follow more as the rule of fun. If we can just take that rule, throw it in the back, ignore it, and continue with the flow of the game, that's what matters most to my table.
I love that there are tables that are for every player. I've never met somebody. I've met a lot of people who are like, I can't find people who play the way that I want to. Then keep looking, because there are players for you. And I think that player. Yeah, and it's so important. It's just like finding a good therapist. You might have to go to multiple before you find the right person for you or the right table for you, but it's so important you do. And I think I don't want to take a dump on rules layers or people who love the min-max portion of the game, because so many of the next generation of players who are about to come from World of Warcraft and Elder Scrolls and all of these video game RPGs where min-maxing is the name of the game. You have to have the right set and the right allocation of points and the right dells. And if we are crapping on that and turning that away from new gamers into TTRPGs, they will stay in video games and we will lose out on all of that creativity and joy unless we're bringing them in and saying, let's find you a game and let's also let you enjoy the RP that you don't necessarily get in those video games that are very railroady. Here is your 3 dialogue options,
Right.
I think
one thing you will notice if you troll the Reddit forums for the most OP min-max builds, almost all of them have that sort of line of, if the DM lets you.
That's right.
And that's what you'll see is they'll be like, oh, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. And it's like stacking 18 rounds of things that you do before you become the supreme being of combat. And it's I'm the DM. I am, for lack of a better word, the god of the world. And if I see you doing any sort of shenanigans that's going to take away from his fun or her fun or anyone's fun from the game, I'm going to kibosh that. That's garbage. We're here to have a good time. We all need to have a good time. Not just you, but all of us.
And that, I think, is the really critical point, that when you're dealing with the rules lawyers who are taking away enjoyment from others, the big piece that I come with is I start the conversation by saying, hey, this isn't about me or you or this set of rules. This is about the fact that we all are sitting at this table, virtual or physical or whatever, and we all are playing a game and trying to do something collaborative. And right now it's feeling like you are trying to be the star of the game, and there are times for that, but this is a group. You can't win this game. We win this game when we play together.
Yeah, and as someone I'm a hardcore rules lawyer, and I even say there's times I need to shut up, let people have fun.
Yeah, it does get slightly different when you're working with younger players, though, because we're all adults and the rules is our framework and we're all there to have fun. But as a DM for younger players, there's an underlying responsibility to, well, at least from my perspective, I'm trying to inspire their creativity. So the rule of cool means a little bit more in that case, because if I have a kid who comes up with something that is just so mind-blowingly original, but it should take 2 actions instead of, you shouldn't be able to do it all in one round or something minor like that. I'm going to let him do it. And then the rules lawyer kids are going to object, and I'm just going to tell them, well, in this, I have to say, in this case, because this is, this is an original idea, and I don't know, however you want to explain it, but basically saying, in this case, we're going to not use that strict interpretation. We're going to use a slightly different interpretation because, yeah, like Sarah said, the last thing you want to do is stifle the creativity.
The only time that min-maxing actually bugs me is when it's one player at the table. If everybody at the table is doing it and you all are aware of it and you all are building these characters that are like perfect overpowered beasts, then great. But when it's one player and they just steal the thunder every single time and like leave the party and sneak off to do their own thing, which I've played with multiple times and I hated it, it ruins the game experience. Like literally in the game that I had played in that situation, we got to the point where all the other players just started like role playing when he snuck off. I'm like, you guys want ice cream? Oh no, he just disappeared again. Whatever, he'll come back eventually. And you want ice cream? And we spent like an hour shopping, and then the game was over.
And that's like totally valid, like the rule of cool, but also the cinematic rule. You're like, okay, you're going off to have side plot B, but unfortunately the camera's not going to follow you on that. We're going to stick with the heroes, and the Marvel movies are such a good way to explain like those cinematic moments of like, nobody knows really at the end. They've got that in the first Avengers, there's that really great scene where the camera spins around all of them and they're back to back, and like how epic that scene was. And like it's a scene later that Loki is in the penthouse and the Hulk comes in and like throws him into the ground several times. There's no camera showing how the Hulk gets up there. That was the Hulk's own side adventure, and nobody needed to see that. We're just the camera's not going to follow you right now, because the camera is going to focus on this other thing. And I love, I had never really used that mechanic before. I had seen like a Bria Iyengar use that recently, and just invoking the camera and recognizing it as a visual tool or as a player or the audience has made a world of difference for me. First off, feeling like a valid DM because I was doing that anyway, and I just thought that I was messing up. But it's such a powerful way because so many of us now have that common shared experience of those big cinematic movies.
Roll credits.
If it was in a podcast, I love, or in streams, I've seen a couple people like roleplay lives that will do the camera pans out and the audience sees, and they'll like tell the audience like something that's going on behind the scenes that the players don't know about. But that only works if your players don't metagame.
Right.
But I love those aspects because then you can see things that's actually going on and understand. But there are people who can't not metagame. Like I only do it if it's accidental.
Right.
And it's like, I thought I heard we said this, but I couldn't remember who said it to who, because we were all at the table. And then I metagamed because the other person knew it and not me. And I'm like, oh, okay, sorry, I didn't realize it. I didn't realize, I couldn't remember who it was said to. But like, if I know a werewolf gets damaged by silver, which is the most obvious one, I'm just gonna hit it with my normal dagger because I don't fucking know as a character.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just some people that just can't separate game from, like them from their characters, I should say. Because there was one guy that I didn't play with him, but I was trying to get a couple friends into D&D or just the TTRPG experience in general, and they were like, "Oh, okay, we're kind of interested," and the thing was is I didn't get to them fast enough to sign them up for a game. So they had another friend who was like, "Oh, you want to play D&D? Oh, I got a couple people here that want to play, and they're super fun." And so they got them, and I wasn't able to be there like for the actual stream of it. So I catched the VOD, and it was just 5 hours of me staring in disbelief because they spent like 2 hours trying to argue with one of the players that even though he knows how something works and how something is set up, that his character wouldn't. And he was like, well, but I know it, so I don't understand why my character would. And they were like, okay, we get that, but we're trying to, this is a different time period, a different everything. And he was like, well, that doesn't make sense. I mean, since I know it, then my character will know it. And like, it just went on like that for a good while. And then it was just things like that. Like, people wouldn't just accept, hey, we're playing a game, we're going to be these people that don't understand these things or behave this way or do this or do that. And they were just like, whatever, I want this, I want that, just so, I can hurry up and cheese through the game. And then my friends had no fun whatsoever. And they won't play TTRP. I try and talk to them. I try and tell them, that was a horrible experience. I watched it. I'm sorry. Let me show you a different way. Let me show you something that's more accepting, something that's more that gets more of your feedback and accurate that you'll enjoy. And they're like, nope.
I
feel like go ahead.
I had a player like that. He would not listen to I'm like, that's metagaming, you don't know about that. And he still do it. So like, he would know that they're fighting something and he's going to get experience. So suddenly he rushes off to go fight with them, even though he had no idea they were fighting. So then this person over here goes into a room, finds something, puts it in his backpack before anybody comes back. Oh, I want that knife. What kind of knife did you get? I'm like, you don't know he has a knife. He's like, I run back.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, why? You're back. Well, what'd you find? What's that knife? You don't know there's a knife. Yeah. Well, what'd you find? Insight check. You failed your insight check. Well, he found something I wanted that would be good for my character. I'm like, you don't know it's there.
Yeah.
I will make this building collapse on you. Shut up.
I think the worst experience I ever had of metagaming was my brother, the one who taught me how to play D&D. He got a copy of Dragon Mountain, which is a old school, very famous, or I guess popular, adventure. And he ran it at our local game store. And within the first hour, you enter the mountain. And there were 7 of us playing. I had never played this before. These 6 other players immediately said, I don't go near the columns. And my brother was like, all right, cool. And he packed up all of his stuff, and that was the end of the game.
Yeah.
And
it's like,
but I and that's such a good, first off, like as a DM, that's the worst when your players don't respect you, especially like not all of us have the creativity or inspiration in the moment or brain power or time to homebrew whole worlds. And modules really make such a difference. But like to totally just reify what Nikki said and what Bees said, like Nikki, that's why I use milestone system. I don't use XP because I don't want my players to feel like they're missing out or that the role play is less important than the combat. That's a very personal choice though. I love playing in games where there's also XP because there is a thrill in that. And Bees, like your friend sat through 2 hours of that at like
he sat through 5. There was
20
2 hours of just
minutes.
arguing. Yeah.
No, 20 minutes. I would have been like, hey, can we pause the stream, pause the game? Like, we need to take this off the air or off of the table. Without having the context of what the DM was going through at that time, because I try not to be judgy, but I'm being a little bit judgy right now. That's a DM failure, first and foremost. The DM should have shut that down real quick and said, you know what? This is such a good, like, where are your safety tools for your game? How come nobody's throwing a yellow card or a red card? Let's talk about this off stream where we can figure this ourselves. If you're at a physical table and you're not streaming, that's okay. You and me, let's step over here. Let's have a quick discussion because it doesn't necessarily need to impact everybody. I want to make sure that you're enjoying the game with the person who's arguing with me, but like, that's a DM, that's part of the job is management. And if you can't manage the humans at the table, and you can tell a good story, you need a co-DM who can manage the humans at the table.
Yeah. And he
It's
just
part of the
Somebody's
gig.
up the entire.
Yeah.
he didn't say anything to anyone. He was not a good DM in any way,
That's
shape, or
rough.
form. I know a lot of people aren't super experienced, and by all means, if you're not super experienced, still do it because it's experience
Absolutely.
and do what you
Exactly,
love.
yeah.
But that guy should not DM ever again.
Yeah.
And like, he didn't care about the game. He was one of those who he was playing it. He was DMing so that he could help out someone that I again don't know these people, but just by watching that little VOD, obviously he had a crush on somebody and was trying to give her everything. So he was there to give her the world, and it didn't work out for anyone.
Have you guys ever seen? It's like a little indie movie. There was like a pretty decent like named actor in it, but it's called
Are you saying
Unicorn City.
Oh, okay.
Unicorn City. It came out about 10 years ago.
No.
Okay. The whole premise is what we're talking about right here. The DM was the rules lawyer who kept changing the rules, hitting on the girl at the table.
Yeah. Okay.
This guy wants to get a job for what is essentially like the Wizards of the Coast of the planet that this movie is made in. And he goes and builds a LARP playground for his friends to come and play in. And the DM shows up and tries to first off, the centaur cosplay LARPs a centaur, and his back is a cooler on wheels. It's like a full chest cooler on wheels. So if for no other reason, it's on Prime. I'm not affiliated with any of them, but you guys have to go watch it. It's so good, and it touches on everything we've just talked about.
Say the name of it again.
It's so good. Unicorn City.
Unicorn City. All right.
Yeah. So
It's
I
so
have I have a friend who I taught him how to play D&D back in 2003 in high school. And he messaged me the other day and said he was finally running his own game as a DM because he felt he had enough experience now to do it. And I was like, you know what, dude? I'm like, I feel you. I get it. Like, I was taught by a bunch of old school AD&D and before players, and like my brother put me through the rigors before I was allowed to be a DM. Like, you got to play all the classes, you got to play multiple types of storylines, you got to use multiple types of abilities, you got to go through everything before you can even begin to be a DM. So like, being a DM for me, and I think a lot of other old school players kind of go along the same realm, is like, it was more like a gauntlet or a test that you had to go through before you were allowed to become a DM.
My first time DMing was purely because the DM of our table was like, I need a break, and nobody else wanted to take up the mantle,
that's a
and I
good
had
one.
never DM'd before, and I'm like, okay, I don't want this to end. I'll go find a quest or something online, because I didn't want to do a campaign. It was only supposed to be like a short break, and I found a quest. My first couple times DMing, not great, because I very much stuck to the way that it was written. I actually remember one of my friends going, well, what do I see? I roll an investigation. Well, it doesn't say you can roll an investigation check.
Yeah.
I'm like, it doesn't tell me what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I didn't look. It doesn't say.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, I don't plan at all. I'm just like, there's a gift. We'll figure this out with some Googling while we're playing.
I've been told some of my best games have been the ones that I had zero preparation on. Like, players showed up and they're like, we're ready to game. And I'm like, I have nothing.
Oh, that was today?
And I'm like, what's your recap? And while they're recapping the game, I'm like, all right, what the fuck can I do? Write this down.
And how much of that is exactly for that thing that Nikki just said of like, you are in the moment with your friends playing this game, as opposed to like, okay, they need to hit this plot point. The WTF is coming up. Here's the hook. Here's the piece of information I need to seed for something that's going to happen 3 levels from now. Like those moments where you're in the game, I think are so important.
I think that when players do or DMs do plan, it can be wonderful because my Friday DM
Yes.
does that, and it's absolutely fantastic. But if you want just chaos, I am your DM.
Respect.
So we just had a very last minute ask my question next come in. So I'm going to pose it to all of you guys. The question is, it's from RF Chaos again. Have you ever
snap.
had an experience where you walked away from a table and would you like to share?
Yes,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
a couple times.
Yeah,
I-
I have.
I've
I
only
have-
once.
Yeah.
Only
yeah,
once.
I got one.
I have never had to have an experience where I've walked away from a table. Like I am so privileged to be able to say that. No, I've never had to walk away from
I
a
thought I
table.
was too. I usually get along with, I've had some great DMs in the past, but there was just one game where I had to. I mean, the table and the community had to just
Whoa.
Yeah.
gone.
Mine was or sorry if you weren't done.
No. I'm going to tell mine last because it's pretty long. Not really that long, but yeah.
Mine was an online game, and it was on Sundays. It was like 6 hours every Sunday, and I was like, okay, cool, whatever. I was playing like 7 games at the time because I was having I was just like, I need distractions from my brain, and I was the only person in the group of like 7 that showed up consistently every single week on time and stayed the entire 7 hours. Everybody else was no call, no shows, last minute late, leaving early, whatever. Well, at the beginning of the pandemic, our 24-hour Walmart right down the street stopped being 24 hours, and we needed to grab water because we were going to have a storm or a hurricane or something. And, like, we have to go grab water real quick, and they close in 30 minutes. So I hop on Roll20 on my phone and Discord on my phone, put my headset on, and my husband drives us to the store thinking nothing's wrong. I'm still playing. I couldn't roll an initiative on the app for Roll20. So I said, hey, can you just click on my token and roll initiative for me? For some reason, I can't do it. Why can't you roll initiative? Because I had to go to Walmart real quick to pick up some water before they close. Well, why are you going to Walmart? We're in the middle of a game. And I'm like, because they close before they end, and there's a fucking hurricane coming.
Come on.
Come on. And then he like went off on me for 20 minutes, berating me
Oh,
about it.
hell no.
So I waited till the end of the game. And then I said, I do not appreciate the way that you spoke to me. I am the only person who has been here consistently. I'm the only person here who has listened to you complain about every single other person here. Because of that, I am not going to be in your game anymore. You are disrespectful. And he banned me before anybody else could say anything instantaneously.
Wow.
And I'm just like,
What a douche.
okay, bye.
Yeah.
That game ended up falling apart. I'm friends with one person still from that game, and that game ended up falling apart really poorly because he just kept getting worse and worse and worse.
Wow.
Damn, girl, that
That's how it
sucks.
usually goes.
Yeah.
I think I've only walked away from a game once. It was supposed to be a campaign. I forget what we were playing. But there was a really inexperienced DM, and she knew one of the players, and she basically gave him... It was his story, and the rest of us were like bit players. So he was playing a paladin, and his goal was to like conquer the universe. Oh, it was one of the giants' adventures. So his goal was to like kill all the giants and conquer their castles or something. But he was a paladin. He wasn't an anti-paladin. He wasn't an oath breaker. He was lawful good. And when he would defeat people, monsters, bad guys, and he would torture them and enslave them. And the rest of us are like, you're the paladin, aren't you? It was just like out of control. So and the DM had no idea what was going on. So I was just like, this doesn't make any sense. Forget it.
Yeah.
And that was after remaking my character once to try to get along better with them. But that was kind of pointless.
I had a game where he's a good friend of mine, and we've been friends for over 20 years now. but he is a terrible DM. Just a terrible DM. And he
Not for
loves
everybody.
to do it, which is so frustrating. But he designs a game, but the problem is that it's usually a game that he has based around some very obscure anime. And so it has to go exactly the way the storyline goes, or he won't let it happen. And so I was playing a character who had wings and could fly, like, short bursts. And so he had another character that was like, basically like classic witch on a broom kind of thing. And they were like, oh, you need to come up here and see what's going on. And I was like, no, thanks, I'm good, down here. And literally this went on for easily 5 minutes where he's like, no, you need to come up here. And I'm like, no, really, I'm good. And so this kept going on and kept going on. And finally I just said, is it absolutely imperative to the story that I come up there? And he's like, yes. And I said, and you can't change the story to adapt the fact that my character is perfectly content where they are. And he's like, no. And I said, then we are done. Because now you're not allowing me to actually play my character.
Yeah.
You just want to
Right.
play with your little action figures and, make a story with it. And I'm all set with that. So,
Sweet Jesus.
yeah.
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 In autism support, we call that parallel play.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So I forgot. Did everybody share?
I have one before you, Bees, if you don't
Go
mind.
ahead. Go ahead.
So, back in the mid 2000s, my friend and I were asked to join a game. He joined first. I joined 2 weeks later because of prior commitments. But the rules of the game were everyone started as 2 class levels. This was 3.5. So, I joined as Kami, which is the character I'm most famously known for. Probably not online, but within my gaming circles. Anyways, so our game had a Warforged fighter rogue, a elf druid, cleric ranger, not druid, Foamfang, a goblin bard barbarian, and then myself, Kami, who was a fighter ranger. Given level, he was then a battle dancer, blade dancer. He was 7 different classes. But the 2 characters who played a druid, cleric ranger, and then a fighter rogue were so bad at D&D. And I hate to say that, but they were just bad at D&D. That we would start combat, and one example is we were fighting a bunch of Atoxes. They were like the ogreish creatures that had a third arm coming out of their chest, if you remember from back in the day. And the Warforged fighter rogue decided he was going to spend his first several rounds finding a tree that would support his weight so that he could fire his bow. And then the cleric ranger was going to find a suitable area to start summoning creatures. Meanwhile, the goblin barbarian bard and the halfling fighter rogue blade dancer whatever decided to just rush these giant creatures and eviscerate them as quickly as possible. And my friend Jamie and myself, we essentially the entire game were the most powerful characters. We tried to give the other players a chance. We tried to bring them into the spotlight, and they didn't want to. And essentially, we eventually just walked away from the game because we were having a great time, but the others weren't. And we felt like we might have been holding them back. We might have not been holding them back. So we just figured it'd be better if we just left the game and let them try to figure out what they needed to figure out, because they were very new. We were very experienced. So we left and found a different game, hoping that they would find more enjoyment without more experienced players in their game, if that makes sense.
definitely got to find the right table for you.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So my story is a combination of every other story that has been told tonight.
Oh snap!
Every time somebody was telling a story, I'm like, huh, okay, yeah, that happened too. That happened too. So, I was in a game. This is, I was super excited. My first superhero game. Started playing. Made a character I was dying to play. I was pumped. It was four of us in the GM, and we started playing, and it was fine for a while. Like, it took us forever to get together as a team, so it was pretty much just half the team. It was always a swap between scenes where it would be one scene with half the party, one scene with the other half, and it was fine because it allowed me and another player to build upon our characters' relationships with one another, and they were like the dynamic duo. They got along. They what's the word I'm looking for? They pretty much made up for the other's weakness, and they looked out for other. They genuinely cared for one another, and it was a great uh dynamic between the two. So the other character was a hacker, and they did a whole bunch of hacking stuff, and it was all fine. That was all they did. It was literally a partial like a cybernetic, because this was like what is it? Oh my god,
Like a cyberpunk game.
cyberpunk. Thank you. It was a cyberpunk kind of setting, and so she was just she was partial. She was like a android, so she would walk around, and she could interface with computers.
Mm-hmm.
So we were playing, everything was fine, and then we finally get together, and we had planned this from the beginning, that when we finally met up, that there was going to be some tension, because we didn't want to just go, hey, everybody meets up, everybody's friends. No, these are people from all sorts of different walks of life, so we were going to get together, and it was going to go poorly.
Yeah.
And then from that, we start working towards building up and getting along with one another to create that cohesive team that we needed. So the first time we met, we had that episode, and it went terribly, but in a good way. Like, it's how we wanted it to go. So it went terribly, marvelously, So during the during the interaction, we were trying to negotiate a contract, and the hacker tried to find some dirt. Couldn't find any dirt. So then we were like, all right, whatever. We, still continue with the talks. We'd be like, all right. So it kind of ended there. Afterwards, we get a DM complaining about everything dealing with hacking out of nowhere. And we were like, oh, wait, where's this coming from? And they were like, oh, it ain't got nothing to do with you. It's just, to happen. And so it kept escalating and escalating to the point where I was like, you know what? I appreciate the time. I appreciate the experience, but I gotta go. I can't be a part of this, because it then became, shut up. These are the rules. If you guys don't like them, I don't know what to tell you, because this is how it's going to be. And I was like, I can't, I'm not going to get into this. You guys have a good one. Thank you for the time, and good luck in the future. And I had to walk away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a sad question.
Yeah.
It is. Which is
Yeah.
an unfortunate way, because we are out of time.
Oh no!
Man, I could go on forever.
But I know. And some of these topics are so great for bringing out all kinds of really good conversation. But I think I think the important thing to take from this particular topic is that it's okay to walk away from a game if you need to. And people should feel that they are able to walk away from a game if they need to.
Yeah.
You know.
And also, if you are a rules lawyer, learn to bend.
Yeah.
Because I used to be a rules we don't use that term anymore, but I was a rules N back in the day, as I was referred to, and learn to just suck it up. Let people have fun. You don't always have to be right.
Yeah.
All right.
And
what were you gonna say, Bees?
No, I was gonna say you guys are playing this game for fun. You are playing this game to enjoy yourselves and enjoy your life.
Yeah.
If you're not enjoying it, don't play. Don't play with that group. Like everyone else has been saying, like Sarah has been saying a lot. Find the group for you.
Yeah.
Find the one that you when it's game time, if you're like, yes, it's game time, sweet, I can't wait for game to start, it's game day, great. If you get up in the morning and you're like, oh shit, it's Wednesday, all right, gotta prep for this stupid game again, then that's not right for you. Right for you at all.
Also, if the system isn't one you're enjoying, try other systems. There are so many out there. There's more than just D&D.
Yeah.
And some of them are fantastic.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. Well, we are going to go back around again and have everybody remind us of who you are, where we can find you on social media. If you have anything that you want to share about or promote, feel free to do that. So we're going to start with Bees and work our way back around.
Hello, everyone. Bees again. I am a variety streamer, voice actor, TTRPG enthusiast, pixel artist, speedrunner, and overall hype man. You can find me on my channel, Big_Bees. I'm on Twitter at BigBees_, and you can also find me Mondays and Fridays. Mondays for the T&B's Power Hour on RFC, RF Chaos, and you can on the same channel Fridays with Sparrows. I got a bunch of stuff coming out, like in the works. So just keep an eye on my Twitter, or go to my channel and join my Discord, and you'll definitely be kept up to date on all that good stuff.
Awesome! Yay, Bees! I'm glad that you are staying busy.
I'm trying to.
I know.
Trying to. And thank you for having me, Luna. You know I love being here.
I know. It's so funny because every time I try to get Bees on, I'm like, I know your schedule's nuts, but do you have any time on Sunday?
Yeah. And I'm like, I just flip everything. I'm like, hell yeah, I do. Let's go.
I do now. Well, thanks for coming to hang out. It's always a pleasure to spend time with you. Jason.
Love getting some of that good Luna time.
Yeah. Jason, let's go to you next.
Yeah, so I'm Jason. Thank you, Luna, for having me on. I'm always here, but usually I'm on the other side of the keyboard.
Yeah.
So I am an artist, writer, DM, all kinds of things. I have one module up on RPG Rescue at Skykeep, which is designed to teach RPGs for new players, specifically young players. And I write at shadowmain.com, my blog site. Then, like I said, everywhere else I'm Shadowmain on Facebook. And so it's SHADO. Well, you guys get the link. Anyway.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on and hanging out tonight. It's always nice when I can put a face to the name. So this has been great. And looking forward to chatting some more at some point. Sarah, we'll go to you next.
Luna, thank you so much for having me on. Everybody, was so nice to meet you. And I just want to stay on our Discord and talk longer because you guys have all been so awesome and interesting to talk to. I am Sarah, she, her. You can find me at Vancouver by Night D&D games, not their vampire games, although they're going to harass me until I eventually do that too. I DM on Sundays at 2 Pacific, and I play Tuesdays at 10 my time, so 6 Pacific, Yeah, come and see what we've got there, or find me on Twitter. Like I have a huge like teacher Twitter following, but I split off my D&D or like my TTRPG Twitter, and it doesn't have a lot of followers, and my ego's taken a bit of a hurt. So like if you could follow me on Twitter, I'd really appreciate it. And like and soon to be on the at patrons and parents game that I'm going to be DMing for these fine people. So looking forward to that.
I'm not playing. I will move whatever I have to move
For
to
real.
play this
Yeah.
game.
Right.
Yeah. Family and work aside, this will take priority.
Yeah.
We will make it happen, and we can stream it right here for everybody.
I can
That's
hear
what I'm
my
saying.
husband laughing, so he can't give me shit about it later when like I
Yeah,
make time
agreed.
for this.
That's
So
right.
it's good.
That's
It's
right.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Sarah, for coming to hang out, and hopefully we can get to chat some more. We'll get some more TTRPG folks thrown at your Twitter, and I'm sure I'll see you around the Twitterverse. Orc, let's go to you next.
Oh snap! I'm Orc from Mork, your friendly neighborhood orc. I troll around the TPRPG scene, throwing around bad memes and trying to support positivity in the TTRPG community. I do a lot of homebrew stuff. It's on my coffee, as I like the user interface of that, as opposed to Drive-Thru RPG or DM's Guild, whatever the other ones are. So you can have my coffee. You'll find a lot of Pathfinder 2nd Edition content. Witcher and Final Fantasy is what I've been focusing on lately. And some homebrew stuff for 5e. And if there's anything you want to see, just hit me up and we can make it happen.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on again and hanging out with me a
Hell
little
yeah.
bit more. And it's always a good time when you're here. So thank you.
Woo!
And Nikki.
I actually have written out all of the things so I don't forget things. 'cause
All right.
Last time I forgot them.
Respect.
All right, so I'm Nikki. I'm the creator of Beholder to No One, a TTRPG podcast. On Mondays, we release discussions where we have at least one person from other shows or in the community on with me as we discuss or interview. On Thursdays, alternating, we have Beholder to One Shot, where we play usually non-D&D one-shots with, again, members of the community. And that currently is being alternated with Clearlight, a horror-esque 5th edition actual play, which is soon being replaced with The Morning Blues, a chaotic Cowboy Bebop-inspired bounty hunter game, which I am super excited for. I also have Dice Before Dawn, where Phoenix by Night, a Vampire the Masquerade actual play, will be released soon on Patreon. Later in the future, it will be released on podcast form. In Sound Control RPG with Radio Signal, a Savage World sci-fi space opera, where a group of friends turned salvagers are trying to survive after the galaxy shattered apart. This is also going to be on Patreon, eventually released on podcasts. Finally, I just finished DMing on Awfully Queer Heroes, using D&D 5th Edition Uncaged Anthology series, which can be found on the DM's Guild, where 3 rogues and a paladin get themselves in a crap ton of trouble and mischief and chaos. That's it. That's all my things. That's everything.
Sure.
Love it.
There's also the
Yes.
YouTube channel.
There you go. There you go.
That's everything.
And somewhere in the middle of that, she's available to hire to edit your podcasts for you.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Please do. I need money.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Nikki, thank you for coming on and hanging out again. This is always fun. I love when I get to hang out with you. And I am Gamer Mom Luna. This has been Tales from the Tavern. We're here every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, where we take questions and chat about things that chat throws at us, which is always a lot of fun. On Tuesday nights, we have our Star Wars game, which is a Fantasy Flight Edge of the Empire campaign called Ripples in the Gray. And Wednesday night is our Pathfinder 1st Edition game, 50 Shades of Crimson, which is always an adventure with that crew as well. So we are going to kick off a raid to our friends Total Party Chill. And we will hopefully see you later this week or next Sunday when we're back here at the Tavern. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye.